So, this isn't my normal kind of video. Today we'll be talking about the quartering and why he should kind of fucking stop. Quick disclaimer, I'm not some kind of SJW kind of guy. I really don't care and rarely talk about it, so this isn't me being triggered about his politics. I actually used to watch him and agree occasionally, but I feel like he's kind of going overboard on pleasing a certain demographic he caters to. If you're unfamiliar with the quartering, allow me to showcase the kind of person he is. Here he is being the Batman for the underprivileged by coming to a tweet celebrating Trans Day of Visibility and calling it virtue signaling. And here's another tweet that doesn't outright call the subject of it virtue signaling, but exudes the same energy to the point that he might as well have. And look, one of his fans said it for him. It's about Tim Schafer saying fuck white supremacy just off the heels of the shooting in New Zealand. Weird stance to take, especially with the timing of it, but you get the idea. There's a time he was really mad at an ice cream and said something pretty racist while talking about it.
It designs campaigns powerful enough to end practices that unfairly hold black people back and champions solutions that move everyone forward. Well, if color of change is going to keep the father in the home, then I 100% support that. That would be probably the number one most effective thing for the black community making a positive change.
As you can see, he's a bit of a morally questionable guy, but if you're a member of his fan base, you probably don't really care about that. You probably just enjoy his honesty about video games, the fact that he hates politics being in his media, even though he's constantly talking about politics, and the fact that he hates games media for their bad reporting and bias. But in one of his newest videos, he's showing himself as a pretty big hypocrite about these things that he supposedly stands for. On May 7th, Kelly Plague of GameSpot posted screenshots showing that she was harassed by someone on Facebook, but she then went to tell the man's mother about his behavior. Now, the quartering here did not enjoy that tweet at all. Now let's watch him grasp at straws for his unique brand of low-effort content.
Before I get into this story, I want to pose a hypothetical for you. If I were to post a screenshot that a woman who, let's say I had posted a screenshot bragging that I stalked somebody's mother on Facebook and reached out to them, sent them a message, and tattled on their alleged son for issuing some criticism. Imagine how the media would paint me.
Yes, you'd most likely get hate, especially due to the context of who you are. It's because of the power dynamic of how people see things. A girl gets harassed and fights back in a funny way is cool, but you, someone a lot of people already don't like, will not have the same result. I'm not saying it's fair, but it's obvious. I just wanted to get that point out of the way because he really needs us to understand this point.
This guy sent me hate on Facebook, so I told his mom on him. She was really nice about it. By the way, I'll take things that never happened for 500.
Why? It's more than possible that everything here happened. Have you seen some of the replies to games journalists when they don't enjoy a game as much as other people do?
Now we know, by the way, that it would be exceedingly easy to fake these messages. This is something that we see the far left games media do all the time.
For someone that hates when people input their politics into their media, he sure loves to talk about the evil far left media propaganda. I'm not 100% sure how her political stance is applicable in this situation at all, but he really felt the need to throw that in there. I wonder why.
And so GameSpot editor Kelly Plague finds this guy's mother, sends a message, sending it to Suzanne. I guess a light dox, because you could find Ryan and then find Suzanne, right? You could probably figure it out.
Do you know how many Suzannes and Ryans there are in the world? Do you really think that anyone would be able to actually find these people based off of their first names? It's just about impossible, especially given the fact that Facebook localizes your searches to people around you and your mutual friends.
And she put her picture on here. So she did dox her.
While I agree that she definitely should have covered her picture in the corner, it's still nearly impossible to find this person. Oh, and also, you're literally doing the exact same thing by putting her name and picture in your video. If you're so worried about her posting the name and face of this woman, why did you put no effort into covering it yourself?
I find this highly unlikely. The amount of misspellings that you see, this is written like a teenager. This is not written like a 37-year-old man. All right? That much to me seems scripted. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know a lot of 37-year-olds that talk like this. Typos in the mother's reply.
You'd have to be incredibly naive to think that there aren't a fuck ton of middle-aged and older people with horrible grammar using the internet. Just look at shit like r/old people Facebook. It's also very common that people that harass people have horrible grammar. I see it all the time. Anyone on the internet sees it all the time.
He sent this to me because I wrote a review of a video game. That is a lie. If you are going to play the victim, at least tell the truth.
And here he goes, about to input his own political agenda and thoughts into the brain of this random person on the internet.
You are receiving criticism because you clearly tanked the review of a video game because you didn't like the politics. You did not write a sufficient defense of why you gave Days Gone a 5. Everyone knows the game's not perfect, but you did not defend your 5, but you let it slip on social media that you had a problem with all the zombies being white.
This is some neckbeard shit, dude. I get disagreeing with a review on your new zombie video game, and if that's the real reason she gave that game a lower score, that's really dumb. But to justify this harassment, call it criticism, and then further defend it by inputting your own politics into the harasser's mind by saying, "This is why he said it, and this is why you deserved it," is really stupid and irresponsible. And he's saying it because his fanbase eats this shit up. They don't care that he's projecting, they don't care that calling someone an SJW cunt isn't criticism. They just want to call someone a leftist SJW bitch and call it a day.
At worst, she has put the name and face of a woman who had nothing to do with this on the internet. Anybody could now easily find Suzanne based on her picture, her Facebook, and her connection with this Ryan, and you see his picture.
Hey man, I know that he said some clown shit, but that's probably not what he actually looks like.
But what Kaylee did is just as bad. Now sending the entire internet of white knights after, what, exposing Suzanne's name and face to the internet.
This is not worse than stalking this reviewer and finding her personal Facebook to message her calling her an SJW cunt. I know that you're trying to play to your audience and make it seem like it's a lot worse than it actually is, but this is by no means worse.
I'm curious if this is what GameSpot editors do in their free time. Stalk and dox the moms of people that send them mean things on the internet. Could you imagine if I did this? If I took some of the random hate that I get, which I get it all the time, but you don't see me whining about it on the internet, okay? And then instead of responding to these articles, people directly, I post their mom's face and name on the internet.
He's being alarmist to the point of misrepresenting what this is. He's saying it like he put her full name, face, address, phone number, and social security number out on the internet, when it's not that serious at all. It's like if he said I was doxing him by having his face in my video and referring to him by Jeremy. He's making a mountain out of a molehill and his fans are eating it up, of course. But that's my video on his video. I just felt like it was really bad reporting on his part for someone who claims to be a good alternative to games media. He claims to be honest while projecting and being dishonest. He claims to hate people inputting their own politics into their media while inputting his own politics into stories that have nothing to do with it. He claims that games media is awful for their bad reporting and biased stories, but is really bad at reporting and not showing his bias. I have to ask, can you really trust this man? But anyway, thanks for watching.
And by the way, if you haven't, I always appreciate when you crush that thumbs up button and leave a comment down below because I'm curious of what you think.